The U.S. housing market in 2025 isn't just slowing down, it's cracking wide open. From California's beaches to the sprawling suburbs of Texas, entire cities are experiencing home values collapsing far faster than experts predicted. Properties sit unsold, buyers have pulled back, and sellers are left slashing prices in desperation. Mortgage rates hovering around 7% have frozen affordability. Insurance premiums are exploding nationwide. Inventory levels are surging to heights we haven't seen in over a decade. And in certain neighborhoods, foreclosure signs are beginning to reappear, stirring memories of the 2008 crash. But where is the impact the most brutal? Which U.S. cities transformed almost overnight from booming hot markets to ice-cold dead zones? In this video, we'll uncover the top 10 American cities where housing prices are plunging hardest in 2025. And remember, this isn't just about statistics or spreadsheets. Behind every data point is a real family, a real neighborhood, and a real story of financial struggle. Whether you're a home buyer waiting for the right time, an investor trying to survive, or simply someone curious about America's economic future, what you're about to see will challenge how you think about real estate. Welcome to Housing Truths USA. Let's dive straight into the list. Number 10, Tampa, Florida. Tampa was once considered the crown jewel of Florida's post-pandemic real estate boom. Sunshine, coastal living, a booming job market, it had everything. Families, retirees, and investors flooded in, driving prices to record levels. For a while, Tampa looked invincible. But by 2025, that narrative is unraveling fast. Housing inventory is up more than 65% compared to last year. Streets in once red-hot neighborhoods, West Chase, Carrollwood, and New Tampa, are lined with for sale signs that simply won't come down. Median home values have dropped by nearly 11%, and homes are sitting for 90 days or longer, despite multiple price reductions. Walk into an open house today, and you're likely to find empty hallways and nervous sellers instead of bidding wars. The biggest driver? Insurance chaos. Florida's entire insurance market is collapsing under climate risk. Flood insurance premiums have jumped 40%. Hurricane deductibles are now so high that many families simply cannot afford coverage. In fact, some homeowners can't even get insured unless they go through state-backed programs. Those added costs are killing deals before contracts are signed. Investors who once bought vacation homes or Airbnb rentals in Tampa are backing out. Short-term rental owners slash rates to stay booked. Locals are giving up on buying because affordability has been wiped out. Even worse, buyers who purchased just a few years ago are already underwater on their mortgages. Tampa isn't a ghost town yet, but it's no longer the gold rush city it once was. Instead, it feels like an early warning flare for what could happen across the rest of Florida. Number 9, Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix was long considered America's boomtown, a desert city full of opportunity, endless sunshine, and homes that once sold within days of being built. But in 2025, Phoenix is facing a reality check, and it isn't pretty. Median home prices are down about 13% from their 2022 peak. Neighborhoods in Chandler, Mesa, and Goodyear now average more than 70 days on market, with some listings gathering dust for over 3 months. Open houses that once attracted packed crowds now feel abandoned. The causes are layered. Overbuilding played a huge role. Too many homes were built too fast. Investors, many of them out of state, bought up properties at inflated prices, expecting endless growth. Now they're rushing to dump those same homes at a loss. But perhaps the most serious issue is Phoenix's water crisis. With the Colorado River shrinking, residents face new restrictions, climbing utility bills, and growing questions about whether the region can sustain long-term population growth. Institutional investors who once drove Phoenix's record-breaking run are pulling out en masse. They're selling in bulk, slashing prices, and walking away. Foreclosures are creeping upward, particularly among buyers who purchased at the top with very little equity. And even the luxury market isn't immune. High-end homes in Scottsdale and Paradise Valley are seeing discounts that would have been unthinkable just 2 years ago. Phoenix hasn't just cooled down, it cracked. The desert flame that once symbolized endless opportunity is flickering out, showing how quickly speculative markets can collapse when fundamentals fail. Number 8. Austin, Texas. Austin's story is one of meteoric rise, and now sharp decline. Known for its tech-fueled boom, cultural magnetism, and rapid in-migration, Austin was once called the new Silicon Valley. But by 2025, that image has reversed dramatically. Median home prices are down about 14% from their highs. In the downtown condo market, discounts of 20 to 25% still aren't enough to spark offers. Tech layoffs at companies like Meta, Google, and Dell have gutted the very foundation that pushed Austin's housing market skyward. Without that steady influx of high-income workers, demand has collapsed. In the suburbs, Leander, Pflugerville, and Round Rock, unfinished housing tracts stand as reminders of builders who walked away mid-project. Inventory across the metro is up more than 70%. Sellers are throwing in anything they can: free furniture, solar panel credits, even mortgage buydowns, but buyers are nowhere to be found. Why? Affordability has been destroyed. Property taxes have spiked, insurance costs are climbing, and wages simply haven't kept pace. Even all-cash buyers, once the lifeblood of Austin's housing scene, are sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the market to bottom out. Austin's cultural vibe remains. Music still fills bars along Rainy Street, but behind the city's charm lies a housing market in freefall. The swagger of Austin's real estate scene is gone, replaced by boarded-up condos and desperate listings. Number 7. San Diego, California. San Diego has always been seen as one of the safest bets on the West Coast. A perfect blend of beaches, biotech, naval bases, and a thriving startup culture made it seem almost untouchable. But in 2025, even paradise has limits. Home values here are down nearly 10% year over year. In neighborhoods like Claremont, La Mesa, and Chula Vista, houses that once received multiple offers within 48 hours now sit unsold for 60 to 75 days with barely a showing. Why the shift? It comes down to a mix of short-term rental saturation, rising insurance costs, and slowing job growth. Investors rushed into Airbnb properties during the boom, only to find themselves trapped as city regulations tightened and tourism softened. Occupancy rates have collapsed, cash flow has dried up, and many owners are selling at a loss. Meanwhile, wildfire risk assessments are driving insurance premiums through the roof, even in inland areas. Some homeowners now face annual premiums above $9,000, making the math unworkable. Combine that with higher interest rates and slowing defense contracts, and suddenly San Diego isn't bulletproof anymore. Even prime locations like Pacific Beach and Mission Hills are facing price cuts. For a city once described as recession-proof, San Diego's market is proof that no place is immune when affordability vanishes and investor confidence dries up. Number 6. Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas has always lived on the edge, a city built on risk, with fortunes made and lost overnight. But in 2025, the dice rolled cold for the housing market. Median home prices have dropped roughly 15% from their highs. Foreclosures have tripled in just the last 18 months. Investors who bought aggressively in Henderson, Summerlin, and North Las Vegas are now stuck with losses, scrambling to sell before conditions worsen. Yes, the Strip still glows and tourism numbers are decent, but the residential side of Vegas tells a darker story. Mortgage rates have shut out first-time buyers. Record-breaking heat has pushed electric bills past $500 a month. New water restrictions have made backyard pools, a former Las Vegas staple, a financial liability instead of a luxury. Neighborhoods that once filled with California transplants now feel half-empty. Rental prices are falling, Airbnb revenue is collapsing, and builders have slammed the brakes on new projects. The skyline is stalling, and the buzz has turned into silence. Vegas gambled on endless growth, but in 2025, it's clear. The house always wins, and right now, homeowners are the ones paying the price. Number 5. Denver, Colorado. Denver's skyline transformed dramatically over the past decade. Fueled by remote work, tech jobs, and mountain lifestyles, the city was once one of the hottest housing markets in America. But that dream is now unraveling. Median home prices are down about 12%. Suburbs like Aurora, Lakewood, and Highlands Ranch are filled with listings that sit for 60-plus days and see multiple price drops before attracting offers. Downtown condo towers, once symbols of Denver's rapid growth, now have half-empty units. Some developers are even offering 6 months of free HOA dues just to move inventory. The problem is simple: affordability. Mortgage rates near 7%, soaring insurance costs, and the rising price of living in Denver have pushed buyers out of the market. Remote workers who once justified paying high prices to live near ski slopes and co-working spaces are leaving for cheaper metros. Even professionals with six-figure incomes are renting rather than buying, waiting for the market to correct further. Denver is still beautiful, but beauty doesn't pay the bills. Without affordability, the housing dream in Colorado is losing altitude fast. Number 4, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta was once the poster child of pandemic migration. Families, remote workers, and investors flooded in, pushing prices through the roof. But in 2025, that red-hot streak is cooling, and cooling hard. Inventory is up nearly 80%. Suburbs like Marietta, McDonough, and Alpharetta are flooded with unsold homes, many sitting for 2 months or longer. Builders are slashing prices by $30,000 to $50,000, throwing in stainless steel appliances, fence credits, even covering closing costs, and still struggling to move inventory. Price cuts of 12 to 16% are now hitting middle-class homes. Renters are holding off because in many cases it's cheaper to lease a 3-bedroom than to carry a mortgage at today's rates. Corporate relocations have slowed, tech hiring is thinning, and even healthcare, once one of Atlanta's strongest job sectors, is showing signs of weakness. Neighborhoods that buzzed with energy, like West Midtown and Reynoldstown, are slowing sharply. Townhome developments backed by investors sit half-finished. Flippers who rode the 2020 wave are stuck with properties they can't unload. Atlanta's housing market isn't just cooling, it's retracing fast. For many families, the dream of ownership here is starting to look like a trap. Number 3, Boise, Idaho. Boise was the ultimate Zoom town, a pandemic-era magnet for remote workers chasing affordable homes and wide-open space. But what went up too quickly is now crashing just as fast. Prices are down nearly 20% from their peak. Entire subdivisions in Meridian, Eagle, and Kuna sit eerily quiet, dotted with rows of for sale signs. Builders are offering 20,000 credits, smart home upgrades, even 2-year mortgage buydowns, but it's not enough. Investors who overpaid in 2021 are deep underwater, selling at losses to avoid further equity collapse. Construction cancellations are rising, subcontractors are leaving town, and local schools are even reporting enrollment declines as families pack up and leave. The psychology has shifted too. Buyers are scared, sellers are desperate. Confidence has evaporated. Agents expect another 10% drop before year's end. Boise's rise was meteoric, but its fall is one of the steepest in the country. Number 2, Miami, Florida. Miami was the ultimate pandemic boomtown. Crypto millionaires, influencers, and investors all flocked to the city for sunshine and luxury. But in 2025, the shine is wearing off. Home values in Miami-Dade are down nearly 14%. Luxury condos in Brickell, Edgewater, and Sunny Isles are down as much as 25%. Towers once fully booked are riddled with vacancies. Airbnb investors are defaulting one foreclosure at a time. The insurance crisis is making things worse. Homeowners now pay $10,000 to $15,000 annually just for coverage. Some insurers have abandoned Florida entirely. With rising seas, new flood zone maps, and hurricane risk, many buyers are simply walking away. Foreign capital has slowed to a trickle. Crypto wealth has evaporated. Even working-class neighborhoods like Hialeah and Little Havana are seeing ripple effects. Rising vacancies, falling rents, and homeowners unable to keep up with fees. Miami is now ranked the least affordable metro in America. The glittering skyline hides an uncomfortable truth. Beneath the palm trees and luxury towers, Miami's housing market is cracking wide open. Number 1. San Francisco, California. San Francisco's fall is dramatic, and it's real. Once the crown jewel of American tech wealth, the city is now a cautionary tale. Home values are down 17% from their highs, with condos in Soma, Nob Hill, and Pacific Heights cut by 25 to 30%. Tower after tower sits half empty as investors exit and sellers slash prices. Tech layoffs have gutted demand. Meta, Salesforce, and Google have all shed thousands of jobs. Downtown office towers are ghostly, with vacancy rates near record highs. Remote work has permanently changed the city, and San Francisco hasn't recovered. Add to that homelessness, public safety concerns, and sky-high insurance requirements, especially with earthquake retrofits now mandated. For many, owning property here has gone from status symbol to financial nightmare. Investors can't make the math work anymore. Rents are falling, vacancies are rising, and statewide rent control laws are pushing landlords out of the game. The Golden Gate may still shine, but the economic core of San Francisco is eroding. This isn't a dip, it's a full-scale unraveling. From Miami's luxury towers to San Francisco's foggy hills, 2025 is showing us a harsh truth. America's housing market isn't just correcting, it's collapsing, city by city. What began as a pandemic boom has flipped into a wave of oversupply, runaway insurance costs, investor panic, and fading demand. Whether it's Boise's empty subdivisions, Atlanta's oversaturated suburbs, or Tampa's insurance meltdown, the cracks are visible everywhere, and they're widening. The most dangerous part? This isn't over. Many markets haven't hit bottom yet. Headlines may talk about recovery, but the numbers tell another story. Falling prices, rising inventory, and too few buyers willing to take the risk. Here at Housing Truths USA, we don't sugarcoat. We track the housing cycle from peak to pit, bringing you the unfiltered truth city by city. If you want to know where the next shock will hit, subscribe now and stay ahead of the crash. Because what we're witnessing isn't just a downturn, it's a reckoning.